to another episode of Family Karma Cast.
Hey, it's always so awkward starting because
I know.
We aren't in the same room and we can't see each other because I have to look at the notes on my phone instead of FaceTiming. So
I'm looking at the wall of a closet.
I know, you're so committed in your closet. I'm like,
it's sad times in my closet.
My goal for next week is to like actually have a nice area where I don't have to like hunch over a desk.
Yeah.
And I can like relax and just enjoy myself.
Well, it's like what I look at, I'll be honest, is like, do you know my white, it's like a varsity jacket. It's the vintage varsity jacket from the 60s.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, and every time I sit and do this podcast, because it's like the buffer for the front.
Yeah.
It's like so dirty, and I'm just like, every time I see it, I'm like, I need to take it to the dry cleaning, and then I'm reminded I can't go to the dry cleaning.
Oh, that's like
because of coronavirus.
That's like everyone right now. I feel like
it's like everything.
That's just like everyone is experiencing that on some level. I had that this weekend. I was like cleaning up a room and like moving stuff into the shed, and there's this lamp that I've had for like ever.
Talk to me about the lamp.
I just need to get it fixed. And
okay, so is it like a vintage or is it anything?
Yeah, I got it at a thrift store and like I really like it, and I got like a lampshade for it and everything, except it like there's something wrong with it. So I guess you can get it fixed at a hardware store, and hardware stores are open, but I'm like, are they fixing lamps right now? Like,
if you bring it into McGuckin's and you literally hold it. So my neighbor is the manager of McGuckin's.
McGuckin's, for everyone who doesn't know, is the local hardware store here in Boulder.
In Boulder. If you ever visit Boulder,
go to McGuckin's.
It's like, oh my God, I could spend so long in McGuckin's.
It's like Disneyland. Honestly, you've never been to a hardware store like this.
Oh my gosh. So I'm Deanna.
Oh, yeah. This is Indra. You're listening to Family Karma Cast.
Karma Cast. So my thing about hardware stores, and I don't know if anyone agrees, they make me very anxious and uncomfortable for some reason.
Why?
Not McGuckin's. Like when I go into Home Depot, I don't know if it's like the really high ceilings or like people like carrying like timbers of wood, and it's just like, it's like they're on like just big long pieces of wood or like random doors that you can open to try out. Like there's something that makes me so anxious and uncomfortable.
Yeah, and they're always like so empty, and I have to say,
but they're not empty.
But yeah, no, there's tons
of
people there, but you just don't see them because like you're in one huge aisle by yourself,
and the ceiling is so high.
Yeah, I also feel like at Home Depot, like nobody knows what they're talking about. Like I always have questions and no one can answer my questions, but at McGuckin's,
McGuckin's, everyone knows everything.
Everyone
That's
knows
the
everything.
thing.
It's the family store.
It's the family store, family owned and operated. And the thing is I just say about the light thing because I just went there to buy lights for my bathroom.
Oh.
And basically I was like, because I wear makeup, and I was like, I need to be able to like tweeze my eyebrows, be able to put on makeup, and it's this by this space. And he was like, I got it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's the perfect light.
They have a person in every single aisle to answer your questions, which is like, all you need at a hardware store is someone to answer your questions.
And everyone's always asking, do you need help?
Yeah. And I feel so taken care of. Have you met the guy in the dog food department who's really annoying?
No.
Oh,
he's annoying?
He's just like a little too clingy. And you know how you can like bring your dogs in?
Yeah.
So like we brought our dogs in a couple times just because we had them with us, and we buy our dog food there. So we brought him in, and he just like wouldn't leave us alone. He like followed us around the store.
Really?
Yeah, and he like kept trying to play with them, and they were like pulling, and it was like, that's kind of obnoxious. Like, can you go away?
Do you know what McGuckin's also has great?
What?
A great selection of socks.
Oh my God, they have
their sock collection is amazing.
Dude.
That's where I got my Bob Ross socks.
You have Bob Ross socks?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Are they like super
too.
Plush and?
So they're Bob Ross socks. So they have pictures of Bob Ross on them.
Oh, they literally have pictures pictures of Bob Ross.
I was like, I don't know whatever you were saying, but they have pictures of Bob Ross and trees on them, and it says "Happy Little Trees."
Oh,
they're really
that's
sweet, and they have more. I guess there's a whole line of Bob Ross socks.
So tell me something good that happened to you this week.
I know. I told Indra I saw someone kick a dog today.
Which is like...
So that was not...
We need to do like a whole episode about the dogs of Family Karma.
Oh my gosh. Well, those are so cute.
Everybody has one.
I love it.
And they clearly love them. They are my people because I'm such a dog lover.
I'm such a dog. I have 2 dogs. Indra has 2 dogs. I've had dogs basically my whole life. I think, like, since I have 2 kids, and I think... like, dogs teach kids about a lot.
I know. It's like totally amazing to me to watch my son interact with our huge dogs. We have like 95-pound dogs, 2 of them. And he is totally unafraid of them. Like, he just looks at them as if, like, yeah, they're just a part of my life. And these days, they're like 2 of the only beings he's seeing.
I know. He's like, you and you, my best friends.
I'm so worried it's going to, like, screw him up forever.
Well, this period or just having 2 dogs?
This period of, like, only interacting with us and the dogs. Like,
he's not going to remember any of this.
I know, but you know the, like, subconscious something that happens in your lizard brain?
Oh,
that's what I'm worried about.
So I think, like, I don't know. I was going to actually add the benefit of having dogs is it, like, keeps, like, kids away because you get the kids that don't have dogs or never have been around dogs and they don't want to come in your house and you're like, bye, don't come into my house.
You're like, oh, sorry, you don't like dogs. Okay, bye.
Yeah, well, it's just like, especially when I'm like, I want to be alone in my house with no kids.
Oh my
I want everyone to play outside. And it's like, well, this person is afraid of the dogs. Can you lock them up? Nope. Play outside.
Nope, you guys got to stay out.
I honestly think, I mean, I'm barely remembering what happened at the beginning of this quarantine because I feel like every day's the same. I really don't think, like, I think the thing that's going to my kids up and maybe older kids is parents constantly being like, wash your hands.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
The OCD.
6 feet away. Yeah, because it's like we are doing, like, outdoor stuff in front of, like, our street is very social. And, like, today we had a play date, and me and the other mom were like, 6 feet away, 6 feet away. Wash your hands. Here's some Purell. And it's like, is this helping anything? No.
Yeah, like, are they going to be like that forever? Oh, my God. Which, like, is part of the episode, like, that thing that Anisha has. That, like,
I know.
condition.
I would love to enter. Yeah, and you know what? That, like, I felt like they were making light of that. Maybe, like, not on purpose, but that's, like, I feel like a serious
Had
thing,
you ever heard of that before? What was it? Xena something?
It was very specific. I didn't
I wrote
it down.
I'm going to look for it in my notes. It was towards the end of the episode, but it was like, xenodocophobia.
Yeah.
Which is like I've never... So she described it as fear of hotels and germs. And she also doesn't like the sun, which is like,
I don't understand that. Yeah.
Miami.
And she lives in Miami.
But she was in New York for 12 years. You don't see the sun as much there.
But the sun in the summer is pretty intense, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean...
She would hate Colorado.
The thing
she lives in Miami.
I feel like... I mean, I wonder when she realized that was like a thing for her.
Right. And good for her. And that's what I think. I think it's like, it sounds pretty serious. And
yeah, think about
to her for getting out of her comfort zone and going on that, even like that stripper pole.
Oh, I mean, that's
dirty
disgusting.
Balls and vagina has just been sliding up and down that, our buttholes.
I know. I feel like,
not to be gross, but
it's really
that's what I was thinking.
Like, I feel like it's going to be hard for adults, let alone kids, to, like, get back into public spaces.
I think so.
Like gyms and, like, things where you're all touching everything. Like,
I know.
I mean,
for me, I was thinking about, because I was watching Brian do the boxing.
Oh, yeah.
I do kickboxing. And I was like, and kickboxing, you're doing like planks, push-ups. You're half on the floor and then half like, boxing and kicking.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're just switching, like you're just doing sweat. You're just exchanging sweat
Oh,
the
yeah,
whole
and like
time.
yoga studios.
Ugh.
Like, oh, gross. I think
Yeah,
we're all becoming xenodocophobes.
Is that what is it called? Xenodope?
Doke.
The Xena
Like,
to the dope.
You know what? I just wrote it down like however I thought she said it, but I could have it totally wrong.
You sound like a scholar. Can I tell you something I'm afraid of?
Yeah.
So Andrew makes fun of me because I am a little bit of a germaphobe. My dad's a huge germaphobe.
Well, your dad's a doctor.
Yeah, that's true. So my dad's a doctor, retired, but I have a fear of pools.
Oh, yeah, pools are kind of gross
Disgusting.
when you think about it. Like all the kids peeing in there and adults.
Band-Aids? Like
I
Band-Aids
think,
are always floating by and hair ties.
That's disgusting.
It's always the hair tie with like everyone's like, let's go to the rec center and go to the pool. And I'm like, hell no. I'm not going into that pool.
I will sit by the side of the pool while the rest of you.
Would you go in that pool?
I would, because I feel like the chlorine kind of neutralizes everything. And
so, like, I kind of, like, could, like, maybe go in the second I see a Band-Aid or, like, anything weird. Then, I'm out. I'm, like, done. Like, I like hotel pools and I like private pools. I know I sound like such a snob.
Well, hotel pools are just as bad, I would think, actually.
They are so gross. I know. And do you want to know something so gross?
Oh,
so
and
we used
people
to go
are,
to...
like, having sex in hotel pools, I bet.
What about hotel, like
jacuzzis?
I always think of, like, or just like in hotel beds.
Oh, I know. Hotels are disgusting.
Disgusting. So we used to go to Brighton Beach and Coney Island, ride our bikes out there.
Yeah.
When we lived in Brooklyn. And it would always be like you'd be in Brighton Beach and you'd see like a pair of jeans floating by. Like a fucking
Oh my God,
full
Coney
pair of
Island
jeans.
Beach is the most. There's like
Disgusting.
needles everywhere.
Oh
There's
my
like
gosh.
chicken bones. Like
Once I saw this family.
Yeah.
You know the like trash cans? They put 4 trash cans up, clipped with like bag chip clips, a sheet over him, and we're laying underneath it.
Oh.
And I was like, this is like, New York City is so intense.
Yeah, I mean.
But it's like you get into that swing of like now looking back, I was like, that was so gross. And then, but at the time you're like, oh, look at that family. They're being resourceful.
Well, I think that's why New York is having the biggest outbreak right now is because you just have to be kind of disgusting there to get by and like be happy. And everyone is just next to everyone and everyone has coronavirus.
I know. It's so sad because I look at, sometimes if I want to depress myself, I look at that NPR map. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I
with the
haven't seen
circles?
that one, but I've seen a lot of different maps. Yeah.
Just like they do it with circles, how much of an epidemic it is
and
in each city.
Like
and New York is like taking over, like their circles taking over. Like it's not funny. I guess I
not
could say
funny.
this 'cause
You're
I'm
right.
a New Yorker, but like it takes over like some of like New Jersey, and it's like Jersey has its circle too.
Apparently Jersey's really bad. Also, it's like it's not funny, but like sometimes you just have to laugh because it's so horrible. The whole thing is
all awful. And if you've had coronavirus or have lost someone or whatever, it's like we're not trying to make light of it because it fucking sucks.
Oh, I know, especially if you have the actual symptoms. I mean, it sounds terrible.
Oh my gosh.
So have you seen anything about Vishal? Is he doing better?
No,
or he never had symptoms?
You told me that he was like busy doing sit-ups.
Yeah, I feel like he never had symptoms maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe he was just lucky, like he just didn't. He was one of those carriers that like doesn't have any symptoms, which seems like I bet it's more. They're saying it's 25% of people who have it.
I heard it's going to be 50.
Yeah, I think.
I thought 50% of people are going to get it.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, anyway.
I'm not trying to throw out numbers. Let's
talk about the episode.
Wait, so what was your favorite thing that happened
this week? So I made a bold choice. We needed groceries and I needed diapers.
Oh, yikes.
And
yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go first thing on Saturday morning to Whole Foods and Target.
Both.
just
Why
like
both?
see what's going on. So I had to go to Whole Foods because they have this bread that I like.
What kind?
It's like their in-house baked ciabatta bread.
Holy shit, that sounds so good.
So, and it's like the only bread that I think is decent in town, really. Like King Soopers doesn't have good bread. So,
no.
I was like, I'll go to Whole Foods.
Alfalfa's has really good bread too.
Who does?
Alfalfa's, they have a really good.
I haven't been to
like
Alfalfa's
country loaf
in like 15 years.
Yeah, they have a good country loaf that I get for soups.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, whatever.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to go and just like see what's up. Like the last time I went to the grocery store, I went in the afternoon and like everything was gone and whatever. So I went. It was the first day that we had been mandated. Well, not mandated, but it was like the CDC was like everyone should be wearing a face mask like in public. So
did you have a face mask?
I had a face mask. I had gloves. I was protected, and I showed up, and I went in, and it was like not very busy, and they were like they had everything that I needed.
What did you get?
I got oh my God! I have to send you. I took a picture of my shopping cart. I've never bought more stuff in my life.
This sounds so luxurious.
I mean, it was stressful though. Like
it was.
I feel like I learned a lesson. Like I need to buy the staples of stuff that keeps when I go on those trips, and then get produce delivered as I need it.
So who are you gonna get produce from?
King Soopers. King Soopers has better produce.
So then what would you get from Whole Foods, like the things that stay?
I just got like whatever I need. I needed that bread, and then I just got like, beans and pasta and like
Did they have pasta?
Stuff. They did have pasta. They had flour.
Okay.
They had like all the things that you keep reading about they don't have, but they had all of it.
Yeah.
They had like a ton of meat. They had like good meat.
That's wild.
So that was really good,
We can't get chicken at the King Soopers, so I'm thinking of doing.
Oh, they had so much chicken.
Really?
Yeah, and it was all like organic and all of that.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking of doing because someone handed me. So now it's like kind of like, I wouldn't say black market, but it's like, hey, you need some like ribs, and I was like, oh hell yeah, I no joke. They're like,
you're like, yeah, I need some ribs.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, like. You can order from this person and get ribs. I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then it's like a $25 delivery fee, and you
I
have
know,
to order
but people
100.
are
so
just,
then it's like
you just gotta pay for it.
I mean,
you
in
want
times
those
like
ribs.
these, I want like fucking ribs and beer.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's like messing me up is what we were talking about before the cast. Is like seeing people like just like in groups. Like I'm just trying to think of
like on TV.
Just going, especially like we'll get to it, but Real Housewives of New York, them going to different bars and stuff. I'm like,
I know it
seems so long ago.
I know. I mean, it has been almost a month for us, like of stay at home. So it's crazy. I wonder. What?
Is this proper to talk about? What do you think will happen?
Like in general?
I guess that's too general.
That's like
what do you think's going to happen in the States? Is that narrow?
Well, okay, so I have a friend who lives in Austria, and apparently
what's going on there?
Austria like acted early, were really strict, and now they're talking about being able to like slowly reopen as of like mid-April.
What?
Which I'm like, ugh, of course.
Well, we have a dum-dum for president. That didn't happen at all.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay, we can cut that out. We can cut that out.
No, it's okay. We can let's talk about the episode though, because I feel like you were texting me, or like I felt like that episode was kind of like a half episode.
A non-ep.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of, and it's like in every Bravo show, there's kind of episodes and then there's kind of non-ep.
Yeah, it was kind of like a part 1 of 2, I feel like, because I thought we were going to see part of the Key West trip and we didn't really. So
I think the hardest thing with adapting to Family Karma versus other Bravo shows, which I think I appreciate, but I'm just not used to, is like other Bravo shows are just like elevates and it carries like quarrels or whatever between two people, and this like things are squashed and I
they
say
like
people are being mature, but then the Vishal thing, I was just like, fucking
dude,
just apologize.
Okay, I just have to
even
say,
if you don't feel like you were doing anything, just say you're sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's just part of being a grown up, right?
Even
if you don't.
I mean, it's just like, it's like he's just so stuck. He's like, I didn't say that. And it's like, but you gave the impression.
I know. Or just like, even just say you're sorry because you love that person.
Yeah, exactly.
And you respect them and you respect their emotions. And it's not even like I was watching, this is kind of getting into it. So Dr. Drew, have you been following him?
Who's that?
Okay, never mind. I'm not even going to bring it up.
No,
do you
what
understand
is it?
how many people were tweeting about you not knowing who Debbie Gibson is? So I'm not going to bring up Dr. Drew from Loveline is a lot more recent than Debbie Gibson, so I don't want to bring up Dr.
Why
Drew.
don't I? Okay, is this like one
he was
of those...
on Loveline?
Okay.
So if you're a person of a certain age, you either listen to Loveline, which was a radio show where you called in and you're like, hey, like my vagina is like really itchy,
yeah,
and it's, like, doing gunk, and Dr. Drew would be like, hey, this is like what's going on, and then it was a show on MTV.
Okay, that's why. Okay,
90s,
I have to
with like
explain.
Adam Carolla.
Can I explain something
Debbie
so that
Gibson?
if any of these things happen again, maybe it will make sense?
Okay.
So my parents are like, they're like very frugal Indians, which like is not always that common. Like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to make a sweeping statement about that, but
right.
My family, my parents were like, we're not going to have cable because we don't want to pay for it. And so I grew up without cable. So like the whole MTV generation thing, like the only shows that I really would see was like TRL when I would go to my friend's house after school. And I never saw like the other stuff. Like I never saw like Road Rules or
Ren and Stimpy.
I knew what it was, but I like literally have never seen an episode
like
of
Real
it.
World.
Yeah, like I've seen that stuff after the fact, and like I would catch it here and there when I would like sleep over at friends' houses, but like I missed a lot of stuff. So that's why I don't know who Dr. Drew is. Don't hate me, everyone.
No, and I'm not trying to put you on blast. I think it was just like people were like using all of these gifts.
Oh,
to
I
be
know.
Like, I cannot believe she doesn't know. And then, so explaining who Dr. Drew is like, I don't even know if you don't know who Debbie Gibson. But he issued a non-apology. And that's what I feel like Vishal didn't even go to the non-apology.
No, I mean, my thing was like, why are you asking Anisha to talk about it if you're just going to reiterate that you don't want to apologize?
I know.
Like, and then he's like,
and then it's like you fucking didn't call her for 2 weeks.
No,
like,
and he was like,
come on.
And then he's like, I think we're both acting stupid. And I was so glad Anisha was like, I haven't done anything wrong here. Like, I'm not being stupid, because it's true. Like, she didn't do anything. I mean, it sounds like maybe she like sent him a few texts when he didn't answer her call or something. Mm-hmm. But like, it is weird when you guys talk to each other every day. He calls you from like his morning
the
shit.
Toilet. Yeah.
Like it is
and
strange.
That's the thing. I think it's like okay, so communication, in my opinion, is the most important thing in any relationship, right?
Yes.
Whether you have children, you're with your partner, you're with friends. And like, I am someone who relies a lot on communication, and to cut that off, to me, is a big FU. Yeah,
and I think that then he said, he's like, Anisha should know. She knows me that like, if I don't want to talk about something, then like, you just have to let me be, and then I'll come to you. And
that's crazy.
That's kind of like, I mean, I think he was referring to like the situation with Richa's mom, which like, okay, that is a personal thing that like maybe he just wasn't ready to talk about, but it doesn't mean he has to like ghost on Anisha. Like, why? I don't understand that. And I don't think she understood it, and I think her feelings were hurt, and that was enough reason to say sorry.
Her.
Yeah. Like, he could have said sorry for that, Or
just even text her, be like, hey, I'm not ready to talk right now. Or like whatever. And I think like the thing, like, again, I went through something so similar. I mentioned it on the previous episode that my friend was ghosting me, and finally I was like, what's going on? And we got into it, and now actually we're talking again, which is surprising.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I didn't tell you. Yeah, we're talking again.
Like as of last week?
As of last week. He just like
Did he listen to the podcast?
I don't think so. I don't think he knows about this podcast because he just followed me on Instagram. You can follow me too. I'm Deanna. Just look for Family Karma Cast and Deanna Bianco, whatever. And he followed, and I was like, this is so fucking weird. And I was like, and I'm gonna let bygones. Is bygones okay? Does meaning let bygones be bygones mean throwing it under the rug? What does that mean?
Yeah, it means like I'm just going to let it go.
Right. And I'm just going to let it go because it's like, and I think Anisha should not take this approach, but the approach that I'm taking in the same situation is just like, he can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And maybe he knows he fucked up, so I'm going to move ahead. But it's like, I don't know if I can look at our relationship the same way.
Yeah. I mean, you know, she did get to a point where she's like, I do trust you as a friend.
That was shocking.
And she's like, I want to move past this. I think it was interesting that she's like, I want to be at your engagement party.
I know.
I was like, she doesn't want to miss the big party. But no, but also, I mean, obviously they have an important relationship. And it was nice how they
and they were closer. They have a different relationship than me and the friend.
Yeah, I mean, they have like 25 years of like friendship. Their families are friends. Like they have like a whole thing. So okay,
I just really think it's so rude that he just cut off communication for 2 weeks. I do.
I know.
And I'm not just saying that because it's a reality show and we're covering it, but like to me that is just so rude and mean.
No, I don't think I've had anyone ever do that to me. And if they did, like, I wouldn't be friends with them.
Well, and it's just like, I think that's the thing that happens. Like, I'm not sure if you've ever dated someone where they have just like stopped communicating with you. Like for me, that's such a trigger and it makes me want to like text people like tenfold.
Oh yeah, it's like totally. It's like I need answers. Like what the hell is going on?
If you want to break up or whatever, or you don't want to see me, just say something.
Just say
ghosting
something.
Ghosting me after the person that I was with before Andrew, I was with him for 8 months, and like we practically were just like living at each other's apartments. And he one night just after New Year's just stopped responding to me. Did I tell you about this story?
Yeah, you did.
And that's when I broke into his apartment.
Yeah, I mean, like that's really, especially when you were spending so much time together that it's like, I know. It just makes you question a lot of things. Like maybe like I was totally misinterpreting things, or like what's wrong with me, or like
I know, but I think that's the female thing. So the thing is in that role.
Yeah. Now
that we're really unfolding this, I hope you don't mind we're talking about
No,
this.
I don't mind.
I think now that you mentioned it in roles, as a man, okay, he can be like, I didn't do anything wrong, and she has to be as the woman, like kind of like the bigger person.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened, I think. I just
put together those pieces just now.
Like to this day, Vishal is like not apologetic for anything that happened. He was like tweeting about it. So
was he?
Yeah, remember I read you those tweets last week? He's like, I need to stand up for myself, and like I didn't say those things and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah,
and it's like whatever. Can we just give it a wrap? You know what? I'm actually really glad that they wrapped it up because I did not want to watch any more of that situation.
I'm wondering if they're gonna get into it again.
Maybe. I also loved during that scene how Amrit just like casually walks up with his food.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah. You want to know something? Because we're all him.
Oh yeah, we're all like, I gotta see
all like,
this.
Hey, what's going on? And she called it. She was like, we don't need the lawyer coming in.
Yeah, we don't need your advice. Get out.
Yeah.
All right, so should we go back to the beginning of the episode? We covered that.
Oh yeah.
Just because there's some
Brian.
things that we wanted.
So much about Brian.
Yeah, so there's like Brian in the gym, and we I thought it was so great that he brought his mom to the gym, and she was like so awesome.
She's amazing.
She was totally like going for it. Like, I don't know a lot of moms that would be like, yeah, I'll go with you to your boxing gym and like spar with you.
Well, do you want to know something that I admire about these, or especially like Brian's mom?
Yeah.
Is like, as you and I can relate, a mother of boys, like raising a really sweet boy.
Yeah.
And watching a mom be really sweet with their son is something that I wrote. We've never seen this on, especially Bravo.
No. Oh, well, not in any of the shows I've watched anyway.
I feel like I watch a lot of Bravo shows, and I can't think of one mother-son relationship like this that I've seen.
That's like actually like
sweet
real and
nice and like loving.
Totally. And then we learn in this episode that Brian had two best friends growing up who died his
Kevin
freshman
and Ian.
year.
Yikes.
I mean, that is like rough.
I know.
It's like really, really sad.
So did Brian live at home?
When in college?
Yeah, like where did he go to college that the mom kind of knew what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I was wondering if she was talking about like since he's been living back at home, or it's possible it's both, or maybe he did live at home in college. That wouldn't have been out of the question. I don't know where he went to school.
It's funny because in my notes I have Kevin and Ian like frowny face, and then I said Vishal's complex. Wow, he's so vain. Goes from this like really sad point.
I know.
To, like, do you remember that? He's
yeah,
just, like, looking
I know.
At himself.
That's like one thing I wanted to say about Brian though before we move on to Vishal like looking at himself in the mirror is I thought that like the conversation with his mom was really sweet.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
Did you feel like I got a sense that like maybe it was like the producers encouraged them to have that conversation then? Like
probably.
It didn't seem like it was a conversation that they might have had otherwise.
But what were they talking about?
They were talking about his friends. Like it was the holidays and he always thinks about his friends, and then like how it, you know, Brian, like to make himself feel better, he just went out and like got obliterated every night, and how his mom worried about him. And
that's really mature to put together if you're like 26 or 27.
Yeah, I mean,
those dots.
Brian has these like spots of like
where
it's like, oh, you are actually not
you get
a total like young
D-bag.
Idiot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a D-bag. No.
I don't think he's a D-bag.
No.
I just said that, but like I definitely, I'm honest to God, don't think he's a D-bag. He's just like, there's something a little fratty about him.
Oh, he's a total frat boy. Like you can just tell that that's what he was brought up in. And then like his dad made another like kind of sexist comment in this episode. What did he say? It was something about like Brian was saying like, oh, we're going to Key West and I'm a little nervous, like Monica's going to be there and I don't want like the whole drama to come up again with our relationship. And then his dad was something like, oh, but like, what if you find another girl? And then she's like, lay off, like something about that. He said something and then said bitch.
What?
Yeah, he used the word bitch to refer to a woman, either Monica or like another girl that he would be interested in. I don't know. I didn't like it.
I have a thing when men use that word.
Yeah, it's
when
kind of
women call each other bitches. I'm like,
no
because
problem.
We have either good or bad. Like we own that word.
Yes,
like that's just a word that we own.
It's like
and
so many like oppressed communities who reclaim words that are used against them.
Right. And so it's like, for me, it's like when a man uses that, especially like when you listen to like older hip hop and they say that, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you really are just like, that's a lot of toxic masculinity right there.
It is. And it's appreciated. I mean, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and all these people are very problematic, but like re-owning it and saying boss bitch. But there's, like I saw on a Whitney Cummings Instagram, she was like, there's nothing better than calling someone, like screaming out, you bitch.
Yes.
There's nothing.
If you're a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so then we get to Vishal like looking at himself in the mirror and like saying he gets lost in his eyes.
Do you think he's for real?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously very vain. Like, he shaves his butt.
I know.
He shaves, like...
I know. I appreciate that, too.
I mean, he's obviously Indians are all hairy, but he's, like, an exceptionally hairy Indian.
I would be scared of not seeing my butthole and shaving it, of nicking it. Is that okay to say?
I mean, do you think he's shaving in the
butthole
area? Or
yes.
No, I think he's shaving the cheeks.
Oh, when you said butt, I meant butthole.
Oh, no. I think he's a butt cheek shaver.
I've actually never seen a hairy butt before.
You have not seen a hairy Indian butt then.
Have you seen a hairy butt?
Yeah, my oldest brother is one of the hairiest people I've ever met.
He's listening. He's like, the record's just scratching right there. He just like presses pause and starts angry calling.
No, he's gonna be fine with it. But I mean, because it's just a fact about him. Like, he's one of those people that has like hair on his shoulders, on his back, like all over. And it's weird because like no one else in my family is that hairy.
Do you have hair on your butt?
No, I mean, everyone has hair on their butt, right? But can you see it?
Yeah,
no, I don't have hair on my butt, as far as I know.
I say that I've told you I'm pretty hairy too, so it's like I don't have like a sweater on my ass. Like,
anyway, so Vishal knows all about hair removal.
But so he shaves his stomach.
Well, yeah, because when they showed him and his dad like their stomachs, like his dad had like full hair and Vishal's was like a perfect 8-pack with like no hair. And I'm like, man, this guy is like.
I'm like, well, the thing is like, just what about Nair? Do people do Nair anymore?
That cannot be okay anymore. That stuff is so bad for you.
Oh, it's probably all chemicals. Okay.
I'm sure people do it though.
Okay. There has to be a Whole Foods.
Yeah, there's a
Nair
Whole Foods
brand.
version for that for sure. 365 brand.
Do you know what I wrote down? Okay, so when I moved out of my house when I was 18, like I pieced out. Like I didn't even live there for the summers because whatever, my house, I was like, I was ready to leave my house. I didn't want to deal with my parents because it was chaotic. And it was like very traumatic or whatever. So as soon as I turned 18, I left my house. And so it was really weird seeing like a grown ass adult. And again, no shade, but like saying goodnight to his parents, and his parents just like walking the fuck upstairs. It was like doing my brain in. Like my brain was exploding.
Yeah,
at that
well,
moment.
I mean, I feel like that happens when like older adults stay at home for the holidays or whatever, but then you realize he's living there every day.
Is just, that's what I was saying. Like he was just like, good night, see you in the morning, see you in like a month from now's morning.
It's so crazy. So Vishal has Monica over because he wants to surprise Richa with a dance at the Bollywood, or a Bollywood themed dance at their engagement party, which is like a very Indian thing to do. Like,
well, and Monica's being a grown-ass adult and not being like, I'm not going to talk about my dirty laundry with Vishal.
Oh, yeah,
or
they show her. She's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. Like, I don't want to talk about with the group, so I'm not going to say anything, which...
Well, and it's funny because they make Monica seem like such like a
goody two-shoes.
A woman child. A woman child, and she's like this Tinsley Mortimer, which we'll get to Real Housewives of New York. But like she's so mature in these ways that a lot of people her age
But it's
aren't.
interesting, like she is really mature, like she's the head of her household in many ways. She cooks all the time. Right. She goes to temple, she like owns a business, she like doesn't drink and all that, but like
I wasn't really talking about that. I was more talking about like she knows what to talk about in public and what not
she's
to.
definitely like has a good head on her shoulders. But I do feel like there is immaturity there. And I mean that in like
and naivete.
Yeah, I mean that in a loving way. Like I feel anyone who's 27 years old, like you don't really know that much about yourself yet.
No, but I think she has protected like these I think of like, you want to believe in these things. That she's protected those things that are very wholesome that a lot of us like throw out the window when we like leave home and stuff. Like for one thing is this isn't bad, but like your virginity or whatever, you're just like fuck it, need to get laid or like need to get this over with however you lost your virginity or whatever. She's just still like hold tight to things, but it's not oppressive.
No, it's a choice because, that she made.
Because again, we've talked about The Bachelor.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about that because I feel like there's a difference here. Like her dad.
Because you're the expert.
Well, okay,
you're the
so
expert
Monica's
on The Bachelor.
dad, do you get the impression that he's pressuring her into doing any of the things that she's doing?
No.
Exactly.
No.
On The Bachelor, like when you meet Madison's family, which Deanna, I so wish that you like actually watch the show because there's some good Bachelor news going on right now.
What's going on with Colton? Didn't he just?
No, okay. Well, let me just say what I wanted to say about Madison's family. So Madison is from Alabama. Her dad is like an assistant coach on the Auburn basketball team.
Right.
And they're very religious. And all of the conversations she had with them were about her virginity and if she was maintaining that. And they were saying things like, have you talked to him about decisions that you've made for yourself?
Yikes.
Saying it like, okay, she definitely did not make that decision on her own. No. Like, this is like, I've never seen a family who's more invested in their child's sexuality and what they're doing than this one. And it's so fucked up. It's so weird. So, but that's not the case with Monica. She's just doing what she wants to do, and I respect her for that.
Well, this is like, it's interesting because they say let your freak flag fly.
Yeah.
And she's the freak flag. And it's like in all the good ways. You know what I mean? And let the freak flag fly to me is very positive.
Yeah.
And she's doing that.
And she like, it doesn't stop her from like being friends with everyone and socializing and doing everything that she wants. She's just like doesn't do certain things, and that's okay.
Well, and it's really annoying. Like, I think the things that are getting old for me a little bit on the show is the pressuring this of the Monica and Brian. It's like, oh, just like,
okay,
stop,
so
Vishal.
We have to talk about
the pressuring to
that.
drink. The pressuring to drink with people are like, just drink this, drink this.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I know.
This feels like a little fratty or like a little immature.
I know. I think they're just like trying to really like heavy-handedly like point out that she doesn't do all of these things. But can we just talk about Vishal's dance moves?
Oh my gosh. So bad.
I cannot wait. I really hope that in the season, they're definitely going to show the engagement party at the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
So we'll.
No, I think it's next.
No, Key West is next, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, yes.
But. So I can't wait to see the final product.
There better be a throwdown at that engagement party. I know I sound like such a garbage person.
There's going to be. So I've gotten some DMs about like stuff that's going to happen. So we'll get into that.
You'll tell me off air, or is it
no?
allowed to be?
I want to talk about some of it here, and I'll tell people if it's going to be a spoiler. But
yeah.
So the next scene, love it. Any scene with Bali in it is just incredible.
I wrote, I miss nail salons.
Oh, I know. Did you notice how many people were at that nail salon?
I know.
It was like a whole warehouse of
I
people.
imagine that's how Miami is, because it's like there in New York and a lot of these other places other than Boulder, it's like everyone gets their nails done.
Yeah, all the time. But there's like more space in Miami than New York, so they can like have a bunch of people instead of a like 2-person hole in the wall, which is what like you get in New York.
I know.
So they start out this little scene with like her and her daughter Anushka, where she's like, I was a typical Indian parent in that I kept saying, like, go to med school, go to med school, which is, like, definitely all Indian parents have told their children that at some point. My dad had me on the med school thing.
Oh, my gosh. My dad's
when
a doctor,
I was, like,
and he
7.
was like, do not be a doctor. He's the way he was. He was like, do not be a doctor.
Yeah, but so, and then Anushka's like, well, now she says that dentistry school is okay too, which I thought
So does that mean she's going to dentistry school? I didn't understand that.
No, I think she was just making a joke that, like, she's backed off a little bit on the med school thing, but only to dentistry. Like, she still actually wants me to be in the healthcare profession.
That's really funny.
But then they were talking about, like, a culinary school that she, like, filled out a form for and got accepted to, but that she's also applying to NYU, which is your alma mater.
That's where I went. I'm looking at my upside down NYU degree.
Yes. And
so it's just sitting in my office upside down, just on the floor.
What did you major in?
I went to journalism school.
Oh, so you, like, actually followed through, like, with your...
Well, I don't know. I say that now, and everything's shutting down. I was telling Indra that places I work for are just, like, laying everyone off and not hiring freelancers because the budget's so tight.
Ugh. So sad.
My industry is, like, getting smaller.
It's interesting, though, because we're all, like, reading online articles all day, though. So
yeah, but it's all coronavirus stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so it's all done in house, so they don't have specialty people. So say, like, if mine is, this isn't mine, like dentistry.
A lifestyle, yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're not going to hire the dentistry people. They're going to just do everything in house because the budgets are tight. Anyway, hire me.
Hire Deanna.
Hire me.
So Bali then talks about how, like, she didn't finish college and she just, like, got married at 22.
Right. And she looked like, she's obviously a gorgeous woman, but her, when she was 22, dressed up, she just, like, she was radiating.
She was just, like, a goddess for sure. Yeah. And then she starts talking about, like, how she mentions... she's just talking about her past life again, and she's, like, talking about Anushka's, how she's going to, like, throw a Friendsgiving party, and that she loved throwing Anushka's birthday parties in India, that they were like weddings. And she says it was almost offensive. And then amazing. She gets into, so Anushka's still close with her dad, so her first ex-husband has a girlfriend that goes on trips with them. And she's 24.
I can't believe it.
I mean, that is, like, that's got to be pretty tough.
I don't know, but the thing is with Bali is, like, it's, like, alarming. Like, she's built from something else. Like, nothing phases her.
It's true. You could tell in that conversation that she was like, that's weird. But she was also like, she just knows that she's, like, better than that.
Well, I feel like she just has I'm not going to deal with that.
Yeah, she's just like, that's ridiculous, and I'm writing it off, and that's the end of that.
Do we know she left him, right?
We don't know what happened. I listened into one of her...
none of our business, but it is our business.
Well, okay, so I listened into one of her Instagram live things where someone asked that question, and she said that they just grew apart.
Okay.
Which, like... I wonder, just because she had such a sweet life.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If I had all of those things and I, like, wasn't that in love with my husband anymore or whatever, I might just put up with it, you know?
Well, it's funny because I was going to say something so American. And I was going to say, did she sign a prenup? But that shit doesn't even probably... Like, in India, it's totally fucking different, probably.
No, I mean, these days, like, I guess they were married, like, over 20 years ago.
Right.
But, no, I mean, I think a lot of modern couples get prenups. I think it, like, if you have that much money... I mean, she did make a comment in another episode that, like, the child support and stuff like that, like... I don't think she gets alimony or anything.
Oh, interesting.
But she might, because her house is huge.
Is it? Have they shown the outside?
Sort of. It looks big from what I can tell.
It has really high ceilings.
High ceilings and, like, columns and shit. So.
Right.
But, okay, so then the best thing was how she talks about her second marriage. She's like, it lasted longer than this conversation we're having.
That's really
right
funny.
Now. And she's like, she found, basically she found out that he had another girlfriend. And they were like, how did you find that out? And she's like, she had like 36 double D boobs. And they were like, how did you know that? And she's like, I found her tattered bra.
I know. That's so awesome. I mean, not that happened, but it's like, it's better early than later.
No, totally. And good for her. I'm glad she got out of that relationship.
I'm kind of bummed that she's moving to Louisville.
Yeah. So what is up with that? And is she already there? Because this filmed in the end of 2018.
Well, here's the deal. It's like, who knows? He might have a pretty sweet life up there if he owns the flower business.
No, I mean, I think he definitely does. But I wonder, is she already living there? Because Anushka,
maybe.
Although, I think she's still in Miami. But I don't know. And then Anushka makes a comment that, you're always giving stuff up for love.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know. With some women, they definitely do that. Have you known women who, definitely they just, do anything for their male partners and kind of lose themselves in the relationships?
Of course. And I've been there.
Yeah, I think,
you know what I mean. I think all women have been there, but then
I don't get that impression with her and O'Malley.
No, and I think the thing is she's had a life. So she started, let's say, her marriage journey when she was 21.
Oh yeah,
and she's 44
in the show. So now she's
she's 23 years of doing that.
Yeah, she knows what she wants, right? And she's kind of is it too much to get married a third time? She just has her head on her shoulders. She's marriage isn't the forefront of my mind. It's more how am I going to live with him? How are we going to make this work?
I mean, they're fucking sleeping together on FaceTime.
No.
Right?
That is commitment. If that isn't commitment, I don't know what is, quite honestly.
I told Andrew that, and he was his jaw dropped. Do they have unlimited data?
I know. That's the question is what kind of data plan are you on? I mean,
and then I did get actually a Twitter message from a fan or just a follower that said, I did that with my husband or partner when he was away, when they were long distance.
That is could you see that as it being a jealous partner thing?
No,
where you're
I think
I need
it's the
to
same
watch
thing.
you sleep.
I remember, do you remember with landlines? I remember falling asleep on a landline.
Oh yeah, I used to call my
boyfriend.
friends and do my homework with them on the line, and
Did you?
We would be silent the whole time, but we'd check in every 5 minutes or so.
That's kind of weird. Okay, I never did that.
You didn't? Oh, I did that a lot. It was
I did
crazy.
it with boys. We would listen to whole albums, press play, 1, 2, 3, and then you press play.
Oh, that's so
and then
adorable.
You just is it though?
Yeah.
And then it's just you talk through the album and what you like, and then you just kind of, it's just high school shit, you're just kind of
I know.
I'm thinking of this one guy in particular that my friends nicknamed Piglet. Because they said he looked like Piglet, and I thought he was really cute because he was 2 years older than me.
Oh.
And it was just the thing of oh, he's older. He drives, guys. He drives.
Oh, the stuff.
Okay, so let's get back to this.
So then
nonsense.
The next scene is Anisha, and she's going to have lunch with Amrit, but she prefaces it by saying I didn't expect to be having all these stupid fights with my Indian friends, so I'm actually hanging out with the aunties a lot more.
I know. I love
and then
that.
They
I'm
have
surprised.
this whole conversation about onion and garlic as an aphrodisiac.
But why? I thought it would be more of that. That's what I want to see for a quarter of the show.
Well, I feel
they
went hard with that type of content in the first few episodes, and now they're kind of settling more into the dynamics between the friendships and the group.
Wait, are we talking about the aunties?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the show in general.
No. Well, I just wanted to see aunties hanging out.
I know. I hope we get more of that.
I know, and I thought that there would be so much more, and I think next
we'll
episode?
See.
Okay.
I feel like maybe we will get more of that when they're... I mean, we'll see. So she meets Amrit for lunch. It's a little awkward at first, but she's like, thanks for apologizing. I didn't expect that from you. Like, I really wanted Vishal to apologize. And then they, like, kind of show a sidebar with Amrit where they're like, do you think he should apologize? And he's like, well, does he have anything to apologize for? And I'm like, okay, so Amrit is, like, fueling
so
Vishal's fire,
I'm just
right?
Like, let's just, like...
But, Amrit is so, like, benign, I feel like. He's kind of meddling, but it's, like, not a big deal.
He doesn't really know what's going on.
No, and it's just kind of, like, whatever. But then Anisha asks him about how his weekend was with Nick and, what's the timeline like? And they show Nick saying, like, I want to be engaged in 12 months. And actually Rohit, Amrit's brother, who they showed in the episode because he got engaged recently at that time. He told me that Nicholas, remember how you noticed he, like, washed his hands as soon as he got in? And then, like, he was like, why isn't your bed made and stuff? So Nicholas was in the military.
Wow.
Doesn't that make a lot of sense?
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, I think Nicholas is so cute.
I do too.
And so the hand washing, the making of the bed.
Yeah. So, and like, he kind of has like a serious vibe about him, don't you think?
No, I didn't. See, that's what's shocking to me. I wouldn't have guessed he was in the military.
Oh, I don't know. He seems kind of serious to me.
Oh, interesting.
But also like very nice and sweet, but like like seemed, I don't know. Maybe I'm just projecting that onto him now that I know this about him.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's like, I want to be engaged within 12 months. And they're showing Amrit like hemming and hawing a little bit that like, and he talks about how like
the thing
Nicholas
is like,
was his first everything.
I know, that's the thing. And it's like the thing that's like really hard to digest and I think I'm going to project is I'm going to tell my kids at least like lean towards not marrying the first person you bone or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just or just like date around and people that are settling down and they're so young and it's like I don't know.
You gotta like try some stuff out.
You gotta try. It needs to be highs and lows, and you learn a lot about yourself. Like it's just such an experience.
Totally, and I don't think there's a timeline for that type of thing either. Like I think you can kind of like figure that out in it can be like over a 10-year period, it can be over like a 3-year period.
I think for me I needed to like my 20s was all about just chaos and dating a lot of people and not dating people and being in long-term relationships and not, and like I needed that. And it's really weird because when I had kids I talked to people like because when I had my first, we were living in California and people in my mom's group were like, I have a mortgage, I have like all these things like checked box, like I'd been with my partner for 10 years and like when I had Ryland, Andrew and I had only been together for like maybe a little under 2 years and so we'd only known each other like we were married less than a year after we met each other.
Well, that's probably because you like.
And I'm not saying that's forever. It was just like.
But you had gone through enough relationships to kind of know what you didn't want. I dated half
of Brooklyn. I really did, and I'm not saying do that, but it's just like. That's why I like. I'm not saying Amrit doesn't need to be with Nicholas, but you can tell his curiosity, and especially as a gay man, it's very strong, and I want to support him.
Yeah, but it sounds like they've been on and off a bit because he did make out with Dylan a couple times.
Are they together? But they didn't have. He's only had sex with one person.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, but we know that Nicholas was his first. Like a lot of things he says. He doesn't get into details, but I'm assuming.
Do we know if they're together?
I don't know that. And I kind of don't want to get spoiled. Like,
I know. Yeah,
I kind of just, I want to see how it plays out. I hope they are together because I like them together. I do like
Nicholas. And I do
you know
like
what I
Nicholas
love?
and that family.
Like
Does that
Nicholas's
make sense?
relationship with Amrit's parents is
I'm obsessed
everything.
when the mom was feeding him in last episode.
It was so good.
Well, yeah.
But anyway, he talks about how like he wants to have a family and kids and that he needs Nicholas to do that.
How old's Amrit right now?
I think he's in his mid-30s. Like, I think the older, like, Brian and Monica are 27, and then I think, like, Anisha and Amrit and Vishal are all, like, mid-30s.
Because Anisha's, like, 34?
34, yeah. So, and then Bali's, like, 10 years older than that. So, right. I think that's kind of what we're looking at. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely getting to the age where, like, families and stuff like that are on the mind, and he's, like... They're talking about, he's like, yeah, do you want to be my surrogate, Anisha? She's like, no, thanks. But maybe Monica does.
Okay.
So then the other thing they talk about is Anisha and Vishnu, which is her ex-boyfriend. And we find out a little bit.
What is going on with that?
So it sounds like they just, they just like parted ways because they weren't ready to get married.
I'm so confused. They touch upon it and like they need to. I want more.
Well, okay, so I thought it was so funny when the producer is like talking to Anisha and her mom Chitra, and the producer asks Anisha like, is there a chance that you and Vishnu might get back together? And Chitra's just like, yes, there's a 50-50 chance.
That is so funny. And I want to shout out to Anisha's jacket. I love it was like a flannel, not a flannel, but it was like a plaid leather combo,
I missed
like motorcycle jacket. Yeah.
In the confessional?
Mm-mm.
She
was talking to her grandma and grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah, I need to go back and notice what it was, but
it's like a red plaid jacket with leather, like trimming, I guess, like leather sleeves and like a leather collar.
Oh, that sounds cute.
Mm-hmm. It was really cute.
So yeah, we want more information about Vishnu, but it sounds like her whole family, including her grandparents, are like, why aren't you just marrying him? And like, we need more information on what's going on there. Like, I feel like she's going through like a bit of it's not quite a midlife crisis, but it's some sort of crisis where she's like trying to build her business. She's like, wasn't happy in New York, like wanted to change things up, and like, her relationship was part of that. I don't know. Then she mentioned some like Vishnu doesn't live in New York, maybe?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on.
The whole thing is confusing. We need more information. But okay, so then we are at Bali's house and it's a Thanksgiving party, which we talked about a lot.
And Brian puts his feet up on the couch with his shoes on. Did you catch that part?
I did not. That's like one of those weird like I swear, you have such a knack.
Andrew is like, you are such a weirdo for the things I catch.
By the way, the Vishal, I mean, in the last episode where you caught the flannel shirt. So I put it in our Instagram stories and the person, someone DM'd me. They're like, that's my dad.
No, and there's no shade. Oh, I'm a terrible person.
You know what? That would have been my dad at that party for sure.
Were they laughing? Did they?
Yeah, they thought it was funny. I think they said LOL or something. But anyway, so we're at the party and
we kind of talked about what happened.
We talked about that, except we didn't talk about the Monica and Brian thing, which I think we have to talk about that.
Okay, so I have a theory.
Okay.
When Brian talks, it reminds me of the guy that buys you a drink at the bar and then gets angry with you when you won't go home with him.
Yeah, he was being a little bit like pushy.
Sense?
Like, what's with
every woman's been in that situation where you're just like, hold the fuck up.
Well, why is he like saying like, I thought like you were misleading me and stuff like that? It's that's you don't need to talk about this in front of everyone. Well, I totally agree with Monica.
That's the same thing that men have been saying since the beginning of time. And every woman's heard it. You were misleading me. And it's like, dude, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Well, okay, so this is where I'm going to get to a thing that could potentially be a spoiler for people.
Okay, so turn it off.
So turn it off if you don't want to know what's going on with Monica and Brian now, because I know.
Okay.
So there is an account on Instagram called Bali and Anisha, which is like a fan account for those two lovely ladies. And they have like the 411 on all the backstory. So Monica has a boyfriend named Rishi. And apparently they've been together for like 15 months, possibly during the airing of the show. Mm-hmm.
It was probably new, if anything, right?
So I think the show is just totally manufacturing this relationship. I mean,
I do too.
It feels so forced. Like even if I didn't know that, that's what I would have guessed was going on anyway.
Well, people have been tweeting on Twitter that the acting in certain parts is getting exhausting.
The acting?
Yeah.
Like from Monica and Brian or other ones?
They just are saying the acting, I'll say. So I've come across like 5 tweets about it.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely like drumming
up
drama.
Of course, it's a reality show. They do the same thing in The Housewives.
Yeah, and that's fair and whatever.
Yeah,
I mean I'm a little bit like yawn with the Brian and Monica thing.
Yeah, I don't care about
because
the
I
Brian
don't
and
buy
Monica.
it. Like I don't think Brian really likes her that much romantically.
No, of course not.
I think they're actually just like buddies, and that's just how it is.
And I think if anything, it's like the same thing with the Bachelor producers talking to the contestants of being like hyping them up.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get into this like reality world of like, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, they are like that and this and that.
You know, there's because each of these people have their own producer.
Yeah. But I did feel like Monica was actually mad at him for talking about all that stuff in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And she had every right to be. And I thought it was really, again, I was impressed with Brian for like just manning up and apologizing.
Yeah, that's the thing where it's like Brian sometimes fits this stereotypical like frat brother or whatever, bro or whatever it's called.
Frat brother.
I don't know. I'm
Frat
like, again,
brother.
I didn't grow up around the Greek system or like go to a college that supported like Greek system.
Me neither.
But it was like in situations like that, and I think it's because maybe I'm making this up, but like he has such a good relationship with his mother that he knows how to interact with women.
Yeah, he does.
And knows how to step up to a woman and be like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, hey, let's just like work this out.
I mean, I'm going to say like, I think Brian is kind of a catch. Like, he's cute. In like 5 years, he's going to be like.
He needs time.
He needs some time to marinate.
He does. He's like a new bottle of wine. It's like put it in the cellar.
Yeah, just let it sit for a little while,
age,
ruminate,
ruminate,
learn a little bit more about himself.
Because he has a really great relationship, again, with his mother and his parents. And so he knows what it is to communicate.
Yeah.
Because he never fails, like, really on the communication part.
No, and, like, he's sweet, and, like, I think he's going to make someone very happy someday.
Right.
I don't think he's ready for it now, but I think he's getting there.
Something.
And then, but you could definitely see a little bit of his player coming out when he was like apologizing to Monica and then like making her hug him and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
I was like, oh, he's definitely like got that suave, flirty thing going on.
But yeah, I think the relationship feels a little forced, and I really want to see.
It feels very forced, honestly.
I want to see Monica's relationship with someone else, and like because it would feel more organic and like a real kind of reality show.
Well, I think if we get a season 2 or they have a reunion, like we have to meet whoever she's with now, this guy Rishi. Like they have to show him because they're like on each other's stories and stuff. I mean, anyway, so that's a little bit of tea.
Like kind of like everything, but how far is Key West from Miami?
Oh no, there's a lot more. I mean, we can't not talk about the grandparent scene.
No, the grandparents. But I want to definitely talk about a little bit about the Housewives of New York because that was blowing my mind.
Okay, we'll get to that at the end. okay, let's just go through the greatest hits here. Did you catch that hilarious scene where they're talking about like Thanksgiving and they show a clip of Chitra like being like, we're on a diet at my house, or like we don't do diets at our house. And this uncle was like, what did you say, die, or how do you spell it, D-I-E? And she's like, yeah, it's a die. You die if you diet.
That wasn't on mine.
You didn't see that?
No.
It was pretty fast. It was adorable, though. I just feel like Chitra is like one of my favorite characters. I love her. And then, okay, so then they show that drinks or Shaan, Amrit, and Vishal. Okay, can we talk about Shaan?
Okay, yes.
Where the fuck, like, all Shaan does is show up at parties with a batch of old-fashioned.
I was so, like, it feels like Shaan is just not even a character. Like, they could seriously just bring out a cardboard cutout and be like, Shaan with, like, the old-fashioned
with,
thing
like,
tied
his
to
hand,
him.
yeah, like, holding the bottle,
or
like,
do you know
smiling.
what I was thinking? Do you know what are those things where it's, like, you walk on it when you go to the airport and you kind of, like...
Yeah.
And instead of like what are those things called, a walkway, like a moving walkway? So basically in a scene you have a cardboard cutout of Shaan
and he just goes
and it just
I mean, I feel like
there's nothing going on.
I think, okay, here's my read on it. I think obviously his family is loaded to the max. Like
right.
On Instagram, they're showing their compound, which is literally like bigger than our entire neighborhood. And like I think they want him to be on, I don't know. I feel like maybe they're going to get more into it because they're like influential people in the community.
Right.
Like they're a family that everybody knows that like touches everything. I think Shaan is just not a very dramatic person. So we haven't seen a lot because he just like doesn't have a lot of drama going on in his life.
He probably wants to keep, maybe it's one of those things where he's like such a so widely known, he wants to keep his private life private.
Yeah, that's like a thing. So that's one thing that I've been wanting to say since the beginning of this show, and why I feel like other reality shows like The Bachelor and stuff like that, like you never see Indian people on those shows.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's because like I would rather like die than go on The Bachelor and have my family watching me like flirting with a guy and making out with him on TV. Like,
or what about like going to the fantasy suites?
Oh my God! Like I would rather die
stuck in her.
The most awful death than like know that my parents were seeing that, and that's like I'm sure that that's universal across Indian American culture.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I feel like that's why you haven't seen a lot of Indians on American TV. So this is like an opportunity to have all of these people kind of in that space, but they're still like trying to maintain their reputations. Like they say in the show, like your reputation is really important. And so I think Shaan is like probably hyper aware of that. And so he's just like, I'm just going to roll up to every party with like this handmade batch of old fashions.
I'm just like, I think, and that could also be like, because everyone comes out with product, and that could be a future product for him.
Oh, he's definitely gonna have a product. Oh, by the way, so they have this like whole merchandise line called No Sharam, which is like,
what does that mean?
So No Sharam, there's this whole like thing that Anisha does about it. It means no shame. And she has this whole thing where she's like, I don't want, like, if you find my sharam, like, don't return it to me. I don't want it. Like, I have no sharam. So that's totally an Anisha thing. She has no shame. So they started, like, a clothing line.
Oh, it's really
and
cute.
I just want to say that we want you guys to send us some hats.
Oh, hell yeah.
And we will rep you. We will rep you for sure.
Oh,
no
yeah.
sharam merch. Find them on Instagram. But okay, so what else happened? Oh, so they're talking about the engagement party, and Vishal talks about how January 26th is an auspicious date, which, like, is this a thing in Catholicism? Probably not. Like getting married on an auspicious date.
No.
Okay. It's a huge thing in Hindu culture. And so he's like, I have 99 things to do, but an auspicious date ain't one, which I thought was cute. And of course, Vishal's like, oh, we're going to Key West. I have to shave my body.
I am upset. And
do you think he shaves his
obsessed.
legs?
I'm still stuck on the butthole.
What is going on in Vishal's
yes,
butthole?
Of course.
All I want to know.
I mean, of course. Of course I think he shaves everything.
Do you think he waxes?
No, and that's why I want him to invest again in
some Nair.
Nair, or just like, again, lasers. I'm gonna laser down there, so it's like,
dude, lasering is expensive though, and isn't it painful? And it takes like,
it's pain. Well, so I'm getting some tattoos removed, and so it's like I'm tight with my laser.
Oh,
girl.
so the sitch.
Yeah, and I know how much it hurts because getting a tattoo removed is so painful. Yeah. It's worse than childbirth.
What?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh my God.
Because you don't have any of those endorphins.
Yeah, you're just like, what's happening.
And they just like, and it just like it feels like a piece of
Can they just like knock you out? Like, why do you need to be like conscious?
Do you want to
for
hear
that?
something fascinating? Yeah. Okay, so I listened to this podcast called What's the Tea with RuPaul, and RuPaul had Whoopi Goldberg on, and so she doesn't fly. I learned. So she just has an RV that takes her across the country, and that's how she travels. Right?
Why doesn't she fly? Does she have a fear of flying?
She has a fear of flying that stems back to the 70s or whatever.
Okay.
And so she's so rich. She's just like, I have this like huge. Is an RV a bus?
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what
like
the difference is.
It's a bus that you can live on.
Okay, so and then RuPaul's co-host Michelle Visage for those Ru heads. She was like, "Wait, I saw you in London." Like the other month or whatever for opening of Sister Act. Did I tell you this? And Whoopi was like, "Oh, so like if I have to go overseas, I travel with an anesthesiologist
who puts her out."
And puts her out, transports her on the plane, and then you wake up.
Oh, dude!
And you're in London.
That is.
Some rich
only Whoopi Goldberg.
Could you imagine?
Dude, that sounds like a dream.
I'd be afraid someone's going to stick like a breadstick up my hoo-ha. You know what I mean? Like someone's going to like violate me or something.
Well, you know that she has like a whole team of people making sure that doesn't happen.
But still, like I just like couldn't imagine like the anesthesiologist, you're like kind of sitting on the tarmac. Yeah. And it's like, and count back from 10, and then you just like wake up, and then you're in.
Oh my God!
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy, and another level. And now she doesn't have to worry about that because no one's flying anywhere.
No.
So
that's a good point.
We don't have to talk about the Brian family scene, except can we talk about Brian's grandma really fast?
Oh, she looks
great. Like.
She's like a little small woman with great head
I'm
of hair.
going to assume, like, I feel like Brian's whole family looks young.
Is attractive.
But
they're, even the dad's, like, very attractive for his age.
How old do you
and,
think his grandma is?
She looks like she's in her late 60s, but there's no way she's in her late 60s. Maybe she's...
We need to know. Brian, Monica, one of you please tell us. We want to know how old grandma is. All the grandparents are just killing it. I just have to say, I love how she tells Brian that he's soft.
I know.
Brian is like, you know what Brian has going for him is he has a lot of strong women just like telling him it is.
And that's why I think he can communicate well.
Yeah,
with
he doesn't have
Monica.
people like catering to him all the time, which I think is important.
No.
So. Okay, so then we have my favorite scene, which is Anisha goes to visit her grandparents before their trip to India, their annual trip to India.
Toilet paper.
So they're talking about the toilet paper. They bring a whole pack with them, which is adorable. And Grandpa, what's his name? I want to know their names.
I think everyone I know on Twitter just calls him Grandpa.
Yeah, I mean, he's Grandpa for life, but he's talking about, they ask him if he likes Miami or India more, and he's like, Miami. In India, India's like a lawless society, pretty much, which is so
I want to
true.
go so badly.
Dude, it is so stressful.
Can we
there
get
are
some...
no, in Delhi, there's 3 stoplights within the entire
That's
city,
so crazy.
and nobody follows them, and it's just it's a free-for-all. It's like
what's
cars,
the airline
bikes,
for India?
Air India.
Can Air India please sponsor us and get us over to India and host
I bet we could get a really good deal right now.
I just want pay for our way.
Pay for our way. But you know what? India's tough, man.
I bet.
It's
That's
not
why I don't
easy living. You go down the street there and it's like there's a car, there's a bike, there's a person all running into each other, and then there's a cow too.
I know, but that's why I don't think I could go without you.
No, I can't, and I can't go without my mom. So,
okay, so
it'll be me, you, and my mom.
Okay.
So, all right. So, then of course they're talking about marriage and everything, and Anisha's like, so Grandma also is bringing it. She's like, Grandma, marriage isn't everything. And Grandma goes, I feel all of this is bullshit. Which I was like, you go, Grandma, I love you.
I know.
And then Grandpa's guilt tripping her, I want to see you get married. If you don't do it before I die, then I'll have to watch you get married from heaven. And he's like, do you want that? And so that was just an adorable scene. And Anisha's like, I can't wait to be 86 and be able to say whatever the fuck I want to, which is so true. Her grandparents have #NoFilter for sure. And then she talks about her xenodocophobia, which we already talked about. So I guess we'll find out more about that. I mean, it's coming in handy now, I'm sure. She's never going to get coronavirus.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we need updates on how all the grandparents are doing. Is it even bad in Florida right now?
Yeah. Well, I think Florida was one of the last states to actually, impose the lockdown, stay-at-home stuff.
Well, it's all the New Yorkers are going there.
Yeah, and, I don't... And all those, spring break parties and stuff, it can't be going well in Florida, especially not in cities like Miami. No. So
no,
I hope everyone's staying safe.
Give us updates.
Yeah. All right. So then the end of the episode is the Key West thing,
which we'll see next week.
So we see everyone roll up Bali's looking fabulous. Monica comes with her suitcase, which is the size of
me.
her.
I feel like that's me when I pack.
I'm like that too. I think a lot of people can relate.
I'm always especially I'm just oh my gosh, even if I'm going somewhere warm, I'm I need a sweater.
I know,
or something.
You need coats and shoes.
I know.
And then Shaan brings his old-fashioned mix.
I mean, just put him on, what is it, the walkway, and just have him go by.
Just, pour in those drinks. Basically. And then so you sort of see, and this is some other tea that I got, which I think we're going to see in the next episode. Anisha's, throwing some shade at Monica, why is she bringing this huge suitcase? Does she think we're going to India? And, you can just tell... Those two don't really like each other.
You don't think so?
Well,
Am I lame?
I know so. So apparently they don't follow each other on Instagram.
Really?
And I think I read in a preview for the next episode, someone posted something on Instagram about it that they're gonna have a little fight.
Wow.
So it's about to get dramatic. I can't wait.
I think hear this.
I think the next episode is going to be really good.
Okay.
And then, did you notice Shaan's cousin, Nahali?
Yes.
Hot.
Why was she coming?
I don't know. She lives
That's
at the
what I was
compound,
like.
I guess. Or no, she lives in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. I was so confused why she's going.
Well,
Because
she's
it's like
going, and
Shaan's not even an established character, and we're having his cousin.
and we know more about his cousin from Chicago.
Oh my God, I know.
I mean, you can see like Brian and her are gonna have a thing. That's my prediction.
You think so?
I mean, now that Monica is off of the table, she's taken herself out of the equation. I mean, Brian's a playboy. Like
producers gave up on that storyline.
I hope so. I mean, we gotta get out of it.
Keep it real, guys.
But anyway, so then we leave. Like, we'll see what happens next week at Key West. I can't wait.
Yes, I'm excited. Because again, I think this was kind of not a snooze episode, but it was a little just kind of like slow.
It was like a transition episode.
Yes, and I'm excited.
And what's your, like, how many episodes total do you think we're going to get?
I asked Andrew, and he said to look on IMDb, which I failed to do.
Oh, that's smart.
Because I watched this
I'm going to look at that right now, actually.
I watched this. So can I start like Real Housewives of New York?
Okay, so we're gonna get into that because this is the first episode I've ever seen of it, and it's what, like 12 seasons in or something?
Maybe, yeah. What did you think? And you're seeing it without one of the main players named Bethany.
Well, okay, I've never watched a Housewives show, so we'll just start there.
Okay,
or not a full episode, and I mean, it was ridiculous, right?
It's ridiculous.
But like, and you can tell that it's like, it is, like what we were talking about, like the acting on Family Karma.
Yeah.
And how like like you can see that is like definitely happening on this show,
like the Dorinda and Tinsley stuff was like, but then I thought Leah, the thing that I like about the new character Leah,
oh, she's awesome.
She doesn't know how to play the game.
No, but like, so this is the thing. It's like, are we really going to try and believe that she doesn't know all of this drama already?
Yeah,
also,
that's
what
what's
the
confusing.
fuck is Giovanni?
Okay, so Giovanni, everyone's like laughing. So there is Giovanni is very deep rooted in the last couple seasons of Housewives. So Luann, who was just as off of probation, which you can't make that shit up, for drinking, for getting drunk and being disorderly.
So
with
you
a police
can get
officer.
on probation for drinking too much?
Well, this is what happened.
Okay.
So she was apparently going to have a threesome with 2 other people in a hotel in Florida. And so they were going from room to room trying to find this couple's room to kind of go and do that. Mm-hmm. And they kept on going into this one room that wasn't theirs. And so the people called.
Why were they doing that?
Because they're on drugs and
drunk. Oh, they were just like so fucked up.
And so they called the police, or the reception, and reception called the police. And so she was arrested, and she was like, "Do you know who I am?" And this bitch, Luann, gets her hands out of the handcuffs in the back of the police car. Like, Luann
That's
is
kind
like
of badass, I have to say.
Yeah. And so she was on probation.
Oh, okay. So
and keep in mind,
she's
she
like
was
celebrating.
A countess. Yeah, she was a countess too.
A countess of what?
In Europe.
What? That lady?
Yes.
Dude, that just shows you that, like, any old hag can
crazy.
be
So anyway, so after she gets she's on probation, she starts this cabaret.
Okay.
This cabaret career. And
where she's like singing in cabaret clubs?
Yeah, so she has these songs, and it's called like "Money Don't Buy You Class." Like, and she sings. And so in one episode, Dorinda, who's the blonde with the short hair, takes her to this place called Giovanni. And gets her a bunch of, it's not Dorinda, but Giovanni gives Luann a bunch of gowns. And in like the season finale, so Dorinda's an angry drunk. Like, she turns.
You can tell.
Yeah,
can
she
tell.
is like Dorinda. I used to like her, and now I'm like, I think she has a drinking problem and whatever.
I went through like every emotion with Dorinda in this one episode.
Dorinda's very stressful. So Dorinda's husband died.
Okay.
And left her a bunch of money.
How did he die?
I think he had a heart attack.
Oh, that's sad.
So this happened, I think, 20 years ago. So that's how she has her money. But so when Luann was up on stage at the cabaret, Luann was like, "Do you like my dress?" And everyone's clapping. And Dorinda was like, "Giovanni, Giovanni," and losing her goddamn mind, like drunk, losing her goddamn mind, being like, "Giovanni," and screaming it in the audience. And so I could send you a clip.
Oh my
And so
God.
that's why everyone's like, "Giovanni, Giovanni."
Oh, okay. That makes sense now.
And now Luann has a song called "Feeling Giovanni," and that's what the Chelsea Piers.
That's kind of
so
hilarious.
lame.
I mean,
It's
these
so-
women.
It's like all these, like, it's like trying to show you the quilt,
Yeah.
and explaining each square.
I feel like I still am not totally like a
I don't
lot of
blame
them
you.
look similar. So
Really? Well, Tinsley and Leah.
So Tinsley is younger.
No, so Tinsley, this is the reason why I know Tinsley. So when I was living in New York City, especially when I was younger, she was like the it girl.
Really?
Like, she was like, I interned at Paper in college, and it was like, what's Tinsley Mortimer doing? Like, or like,
her
and she
name
was always
is
in
familiar, actually.
She was always in Page 6, and
so
then
she's like a socialite.
She was a socialite, and then what happened with her is she moved to West Palm Beach. She got arrested for breaking into her ex-husband's.
Okay, has literally every character been
basically
arrested?
Leah's been arrested that we heard of, which I was like, damn, girl.
Yeah, she's like
Tinsley's been arrested, and Luann's been arrested.
Oh my God, they are like these women.
Yeah, I know.
And like, so the big gossip at the beginning of the episode is that Bethany is not returning. So what's the tea on that? Is she like not?
So Bethany came from the beginning, and so I started Housewives when Bethany was absent, when she left the first time.
Oh,
and
so like, is it possible she's
this.
coming back? Is it kind of like a Stassi exit?
It might be, but she is so rich right now. Like, so she started poor on the show, from what I understand. Then she started Skinny Girl, and now she's a brand and has so much money, and she buys and sells real estate also in New York City. Okay. But she has a boyfriend in Boston, and she kind of just like, there's been only 2 housewives that have quit the Housewives franchise, and everyone else has been fired, and Bethany's one of them, and LVP is the other. Those are the only 2.
So she quit because she has another show, though.
No, there's a whole drama surrounding the reason why she quit.
Why did she quit?
Oh, if you want to get into that, that's the Beverly Hills.
Okay, but that's going to be premiering soon too, right?
So this is the thing, and so it's going to be Potomac is, I think, next week.
Okay.
So we're coming into Housewives like fandom. What's coming up? Like all of my Twitter feed, because I'm in the Bravo
sphere.
Twitter feed universe or whatever, and it's all Housewives.
Oh,
it's all Housewives. So the reason why I like Leah is because she's been arrested, she's been in jail, and she has fucking knuckle tattoos.
I noticed that. I
was like, what? And her front teeth are fake.
I know. And she just like laid it all out there. She's like, this is my deal, and I'm not ashamed about any of it.
And the thing is she doesn't, you can tell she doesn't know how to play it.
No, but like
everyone's playing it up, and she's just kind of watching.
But my read on that was like, because she isn't playing it up, she's just like being herself, that like she's the most likable.
Yeah, I love Leah.
I really it's never seeing it before. I'm excited to see more of her. And it looks like from the preview of the season that she's going to just be a hot mess.
Yeah. And Leah, like, she doesn't want to get married.
Yeah.
She has her own money.
Yeah, because
which
of her
none
like
of them,
brand.
none of them really do. You know what I mean? It's all like, this was my husband's money. Ramona.
Oh my God!
Ramona?
Can I say that
She's
Ramona woman?
She's a mess.
What? So at that dinner, she was fake crying.
That's fake crying. Everyone was calling it out on Twitter.
I was like, that is
she's
the
a terrible person.
lamest.
No, Ramona's awful.
I really don't want to see.
No one likes Ramona. If you are a Ramona stan, then like DM me because But Sonia's great.
Sonia was a bit much, but I could see how she could be likable.
She's probably one of my favorite housewives.
I really liked Dorinda for like the first half of the episode.
She turns.
And
That's
then
Dorinda.
she
You
started
like her
laying into Tinsley like that. And it was just mean.
She's mean.
And I loved how Leah was just like, what? Are you going to say
like,
that shit?
Yeah. So I hope you watch it. If you don't, I totally get it.
I mean, so here's my thing. Like, at the end of every night, like, before I go to bed, you know how, like, I've gotten into this really bad habit where, like, I've been falling asleep on the couch at, like, 9:30.
Yeah.
And then I, like, wake up
That's
at
not
11.
bad.
It sucks because I have to get up and, like, brush my teeth. But I also, because I'm nursing right now, I have to pump before I go to bed.
Do you pump in the middle of the night?
No, I just do it before I go to bed. And so my, like, reward as I'm pumping is watching bad Bravo reality TV. I can watch, like, 20 minutes at a time while I'm doing that. So I'll try and keep up with it. My interest has been piqued. I do think that Family Karma is better.
Yeah. They're two kind of different entities.
They totally are. And actually, I just looked at IMDb. There's only 8 episodes.
Of what?
Of Family Karma.
Yeah.
Okay, how are there only going to be 8 episodes of Family Karma and there are literally like 22 of Vanderpump?
Yeah. Exactly. Because Vanderpump has like the momentum behind it.
I hate that. It makes me sad. But maybe I really hope they do a reunion. And I really hope that they pick it up for season 2.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I don't know, especially when it's only 9. Did you say 8 or 9?
8.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's really short.
Yeah, so we're halfway through.
Well, we'll see what happens. I feel like they can't, like, dispose of some of the characters on that show. I mean, like, you know.
I know. So you guys get your friends to watch.
Yeah, seriously. Tell everyone because, like, it's an awesome show. I don't know.
It's an awesome show, and it's different programming, and, like, we need less women tearing each other's hair out and more women seeing relationships within their family.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, there's so much to support, and we are their biggest fans, obviously. So, yeah, you know. Oh, and can I just tell you the Bachelor thing?
Yeah, I'm all ears.
Because I just have to talk about it with someone, so I'm going to talk about it with you.
Oh, and you know me, I'm like, yes.
So in Peter's season, like, there was, all of the girls were, like, painfully young and immature and just, like, lame. Yeah. But there was one woman who I really liked, and her name was Kelly. And she was,
what was her profession?
She was a lawyer.
Oh, okay. She was the one who aged herself with the injection.
Yes, we talked about her. So she was sent home before hometowns. So she was sent home like pretty early in the grand scheme of things. The situation now is like Peter is in quarantine with her in her Chicago apartment. Yikes. And they're like totally dating, obviously.
Oh, my God. So is he just running through?
Well, he's just like, I cannot believe he's gone through like all of these women.
What's
wrong
with him?
Dude, I don't know, but I actually kind of love that they're together because I wanted them to end up together the whole time. So it's one of these like little pieces of joy that I can take with me in my day-to-day slog.
Peter's such a confused man. Talk about, from what I understand, listening to the podcast, a weird relationship with his mother.
Yeah. Well, he definitely, it's like, it's simultaneously like, oh, they have such a great relationship, and like, oh my gosh, it's a little bit much.
It sounds cringeworthy.
It's a little cringy, but I'm going to choose to, you know, just supported, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I could see some parallels between Peter and Brian.
Interesting.
In terms of, like, immaturity.
Man boys.
Yeah, and, like, maybe just being, like, not totally ready to, like, leave the nest and go out on their own.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder. So, anyway, this is getting
We
long.
hope you enjoyed the extra long episode, because what the fuck else are you going to do but
I know,
listen to
seriously.
shit these days? I feel like we shouldn't even cut it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? Thanks for listening. Thanks for rating and reviewing. And
rate, review, follow.
Yeah, definitely keep up with us on Twitter and Instagram. Family Karma Cast with a K is on both of those. And we will see you next week.
Love you all. Oh.
Are we going to talk about Tiger King at any point? Like maybe. We'll see.
Maybe
I
don't know. It depressed both of us so much.
I just I'm not even done yet, and I'm just like
it's so depressing.
Like I want to know what's gonna happen, but I also like
I can tell you if you want to call me.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just really sad to see animals treated like that.
The thing is if it was just people attacking each other, I was in like tearing up in the last scene because something happens, and I'm just like, and they released a bonus episode.
They did?
And I'm not going to watch it because it made me so sad.
It's just, I'm so like disappointed in these people.
Well, people were like hyping it up like this is such a phenomenon. And I was like, this is such a flaw in our world, in our society.
It's like, yeah, I mean, if anything good is coming from it, I was telling Patrick, I was like, maybe the only good thing is that it's like normalizing like gay culture amongst like a group of people who might be really homophobic otherwise. I don't know. That was like the only thing.
I was trying to, because it's like team no one in that one. You know what I mean?
Oh no. Everyone is despicable. Literally everyone. I don't like anyone that I've seen. The only thing I like on that show are the poor animals that are.
I know, and they're just like the alligators are just burned alive.
Oh
and it's
my
just
god!
The only thing I think we need to like discuss: did Carol put her husband in the meat grinder?
Do they discuss it more after episode 5? Because I'm in the middle of episode 5. I don't remember. I mean. I feel like there is a very good chance that she murdered her husband.
Oh, yeah. I think, like, if you put me on a jury, Andrew and I, like, did some pillow talk about this.
Yeah.
And we both agreed if you put us on the jury, we couldn't convict her. But if you had to put all of our money on it, I would say she did something with
She definitely was involved. Like,
they're reopening the case up with her.
They are?
Yeah. There's a new sheriff down there.
Well, she's never going to get convicted. I mean, it's a waste of time.
You heard who's playing her?
No.
Kate
McKinnon.
I mean, like, just that is going to be so good.
That is incredible. And I can't wait for that. And we love all of you, and we will catch you next time.
Namaste, bitches.
Namaste, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.